Allegations of marginalization have recently surfaced against the Tinubu-led administration, with critics claiming that federal appointments have disproportionately favored certain regions. The Alaibo Development Foundation, ADF, cited the composition of the newly formed National Population Commission, which includes 5 Yoruba and 3 northern members with no representative from the southeast. ADF also criticized the removal of Dr. Nkiru Kachidi Amaduikwe as Director General of the Nigerian Climate Change Council, replaced by a Yoruba nominee despite her earlier presidential commendation.
Similarly, Ohanes Ndigo raised concerns over the 10-year extension of Comptroller General Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, arguing it could block the promotion of DCGP Nwafo from Anambra State. Join us this morning to discuss this development is the convener of the Country First Movement, Professor Chris Mustapha Nwakobia Jr. Good morning to you, Prof. A warm welcome to you. And we're happy to have you on Breakfast Central.
Good morning, everyone.
It's good to see you this rainy morning in Lagos. Now, let's get to the business at hand. Nigeria's constitution mandates equitable representation through the federal character principle. And I mean, the question is the Tinubu administration violating this principle? Have they adhered to the federal character principle in the appointments you've seen in the last 2 years?
Well, we have had this initiative. We learned Buhari for his notice appointment. We changed him for big and whatever was people in the society that will look us.
Well, we seem to have a little challenge with your audio, Prof. Hopefully we can fix that and try to get the audio working so that we can get your responses loud and clear. But let's do this. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, I will try as much as possible to continue this conversation. Very interesting one indeed, and we'll try to find out what your thoughts are. Do well to stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. We're taking a look at the marginalization claims made by certain groups affecting their thoughts concerning appointments and much more, especially on the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. But we do have convener of Country First Movement, Professor Chris Mustapha Nwakobia Jr., who's here with us still. Thanks for staying with us. I know, Binga, you did ask a question, so I'll just let Binga go ahead.
Yes, my question was, are you seeing a pattern here of the Tinubu administration violating the principle of federal character in the appointments they've made so far in heads of parastatals and agencies?
Wenga, you were very right to raise about Provisions Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution. Can you hear what?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Right. Chapter 2 was applied to what we call the directive principle of state policy, fundamental objectives of state. Now, what we have seen over the past since 2015, the consistent delegation from those on the top parties. Very against nepotism, and we are letting them be against elections county. It has been worse within the past so since the appointment protocols of MQ against several sections country.
Okay. Prof, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I think we might have a really tight situation in our hands with the network connectivity. But what we'll do is we'll try as much as possible to have our engineers work with you to see if we can get your audio working again. But prior to that, or before we come back to you, let's quickly also run through another piece of story. Hopefully, we'll be able to come back to you on that. So, for the benefit of our viewers, please do stay with us. In the meantime, Before we return to that conversation, let's quickly tell you that the Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, has assured of the federal government's commitment to providing adequate road infrastructure for citizens in its drive to improve commerce and improve the nation's economy. The minister made this known in Abuja as he received state-of-the-art construction equipment at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja, donated by the Japanese government to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency. Goronyo says that the equipment worth over 3.6 billion naira will help FEMA fulfill its mandate, renovate dilapidated roads across the country and impact nation's gross domestic product. And hopefully that would include the Lekki-Ekpe axis. I'm just saying. Our correspondent, by the way, Sumaya Abubakar, has more in this report.
According to the Government Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Nigeria has about 195,000 kilometers of road network, out of which only about 60,000 kilometers are tarred and 135,000 kilometers remain uncharted. The figure above shows that Nigeria has the largest road network in West Africa, cutting across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The situation, however, poses a Herculean task in ensuring that they are properly maintained.
Our roads are arteries of our nation, vital for commerce, agriculture, healthcare, and the daily lives of our citizens.
With the Federal Road Maintenance Agency saddled with ensuring the maintenance of the network, challenges from lack of availability of funds and equipment has continued to pose a major challenge. The Federal Ministry of Works, in a bid to support FEMA in fulfilling its responsibility, has recently partnered with the Japanese government, a partnership that has witnessed the donation of construction equipment worth billions of naira to help FEMA fulfill its mandate.
This donation of advanced road construction equipment worth 3.6 billion naira is a game changer. It is significantly enhanced FEMA's capacity to carry out its mandate more efficiently and effectively.
I'm convinced that this will surely be a major contribution to FEMA as it continues to properly maintain and service the roads in Nigeria. And this is more than just a machine. It also represents innovation and efficiency in road maintenance.
The Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, while commissioning the advanced road construction and maintenance equipment, says that it will help improve the nation's existing infrastructure, including Nigeria's gross domestic product. Also, the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, Suzuki Hideo, added that the equipment will help improve the lives of citizens.
It is the infrastructure that contributes significantly to the GDP of any nation. We are witnessing a transformative wave of road infrastructural development driven by Mr. President.
Better roads mean improved access to markets, schools, and healthcare facilities, stimulate economic activities, and contribute to poverty reduction.
The minister assured of President Bola Tinubu's commitment to improving critical infrastructure in the country, saying that the equipment will be judiciously put to use. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
I guess we should be expecting Japanese standard roads.
That's it.
Giving
Premium.
Tokyo and Narita kind of vibe.
I don't know but the roads are good now. The good thing, did you just say Naruto? My goodness gracious. The roads are good now. That's what the roads rather are set to be good now that we have.
Because I wanted to ask
equipment.
which roads are good now.
However, I did mention before Olive joined us on Wake Up Conversation, I did mention how deplorable
It was,
the
he had
roads are. I had an
very
experience.
harrowing experience.
Horror experience.
To work today. Almost ran over
a dead body,
body
on just outside VGC
because of the
there.
darkness and the bad state of road.
It's bad. So let's hope that now that we have, should we even, this is part of the, are we going to say this is part of the equipment the president had mentioned in his speech that they're expecting to bring in tractors? That was for agriculture.
No, this is a donation.
That was for agriculture.
Yeah,
this is a
and
donation. So that's fine. That
And
means
kudos to the people, the great people of Japan. I would like to say arigato gozaimasu to my Japanese friends.
What
and
did you
brothers
just
there.
say?
thank you in
Say it
Japanese.
again.
Arigato goizaimasu. Yes.
Yo, let's be sure that I'm speaking the
thank-
correct thing. I'm not
thank
shipping
you.
for them.
Benga, whether it's arigato or whether it's a she, whether it's she.
We get the message.
The
I
point
mean,
is,
we're very thankful.
let's see good roads. And that's exactly what Nigerians are looking forward to have. But then again, we do understand that civil society groups are also talking in Rivers State. I don't know, Benga, this story is one that calls for serious attention. You do have the information, right? Concerning the civil
Yes,
society groups.
I mean, it's Rivers State. We still need to tell you that it's still under the sole administratorship. What's it called?
Sole administrator.
Yeah, sole administratorship. And now civil society groups in Rivers State are kicking against the process ahead of the local government elections slated for August the 30th. The Rivers State civil society organizations are calling on electorates to boycott the election while questioning the source of funding for the election.
The current composition of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, is illegal and unconstitutional, as it was not established by a duly elected governor as required by Section 198 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended. We cannot overemphasize this point. We are saying that the person that has the authority, the backing, the spirit of our Constitution to so do is the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sars Murray Fubra. And we are calling on Rivers people, well-meaning Rivers people, we are calling on political parties, all election stakeholders, and indeed, security agencies, and every serious-minded Rivers man and woman resident in Rivers State, Nigerians resident in Rivers State, voting adults in Rivers State to boycott the illegal elections as proposed by the illegal RISEC.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central, and we have some great news here. Professor Chris Mustafa Nwakobia has joined us, and hopefully we'll have a better conversation. Apologies for the back and forth, Prof, but let's get back into it. Yes, I was talking about the violation of the principle of federal character by the Tinubu administration. What's your take on it?
Clearly, Brenda, I hope you hear me this time.
Yes, we can.
Loud and clear.
The truth is that Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which provides for fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, lampoons at skewed appointments against sections, against regions, against sex, against gender. And as I talk to you, what is fundamentally important is that in 2025, when this administration, the APC administration came on board, they made promises about cohesion, about unity, about carrying every section of the country along. I remember that in the formation of the APC, we lampooned Jonathan's administration as being nepotistic. But tragically, when the Buhari administration came on board, it raised nepotistic tendencies to an Olympic level. As I talk to you very sadly, it is not as though this government has done the Southwest a favor. It has been so skewed to appointments favoring Lagos as a state, not necessarily the Southwest. You know, I tell people that Tinubu has raised nepotism, skewed appointments, and an infraction against the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution to an all-time high. If you look at the appointing protocols of Mr. President, you find out that the Southeast, the South, the Northeast, the North Central appears alienated in the appointing protocols of government. And for those who are listening to us, it would be likely unfair to think that we're crying wolf, because what we're talking about is a provision of the Constitution, is the expectations of the Constitution. The reason for which you have Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which provides for the federal character normative, is to create some kind of unity, equity, fairness, and a strong sense of belonging in a multi-ethnic nation like ours. You need to carry everybody along. Tragically, a president who did not win more than 37% of votes cast in the last election has been very alienating of tendencies across the country. I'll give you a practical instance. If you look at the entire economic team, apart from the office of a vice president that according to the constitution heads the economic team, the president is the minister of petroleum. The CBN governor is from the southwest. The minister of finance is from the southwest. The DG of custom is from the southwest. Blue economy, the minister in charge of blue economy is from the southwest. Every major FIRS from the southwest. And then you ask yourself, has nobody within the presidency or a minder at the presidency, has no one mustered up the guts to say to Mr. President, Mr. President, we are not obeying the Constitution. The Constitution envisages that you carry everybody along and give every region and section of this country a sense of belonging. And with particular pain in my heart, I saw the last appointment, for which I guess is the reason for this discussion. You go through the board appointments, you go through the CBN board appointments, all the appointments, you ask yourself, does this president not understand that he's superintending over a country as large as our country? Does he not understand the fact that you have variegated tendencies in this country? Does he not understand the fact that every part of this country should be given a sense of belonging? Why is he doing this? You know, if he had won a landslide election or victory, if he had won so much votes from the southwest, as it were, because when I look at it, he lost Lagos State in the last general election. Is he doing this because he wants to win Lagos? What about the other 35 states of the country? What about the FCT? You know, I think that the minders of this president and the minders of the presidency should call our dear president to really look at these issues, because every section, every tendency, every faith, every gender should have a sense of belonging in the governance of our country.
All right. You did mention in your speech that maybe if there's anyone within the president's cabinet that hasn't spotted this, but I don't know if we have the list. We'd love to put the list on the screen there just for a little while so we could look at it carefully. Although you mentioned some of them, the list indeed sees a lot of persons appointed by the president holding very big positions and making decisions, especially for the country, all coming from the southwest and very few from the northern part. Recently, some of the northern members of a forum did speak out to tell the president that it's too late, especially the newly formed coalition party told the president that it's too late for him to start thinking of giving positions, as it were, to people from the north. Do you think that this will in any way impact on the 2027 elections, especially how he is being perceived as a number one citizen, but of course not following what we see here by taking only selected members of a particular nationality or group, rather?
No, let me say quickly that the North is very aggrieved, and so is the Southeast, so is the South-South, and so is the North-Central and the Northeast. You know, I have wondered whether Nigeria has been reduced to simply the Northwest and the Southwest. Any president who truly cares about country, you know, the movement I should pretend is called Country First, who truly cares about a country so variegated in tendencies, creed, clan, and faith like us, would do well to carry everybody along. And the office of president simply suggests that the president will be the father of the nation, not segregating against any tendency or proclivity, if you like. Now, what has made this issue far more stringent, as we discussed, is the fact that we have, like you noted, 2027 staring us in the face. So he does appear to, on the one hand, he wants to seem to be interested in giving some sense of balance, but every passing day, you find out that it is one step forward and 10 steps backward, you know. And I think that it will affect him badly in 2027. Whatever he does with the court jesters and hypocrites and sycophants who are in the public space saying that this president is carrying everybody along. I watched a program yesterday by some elements in the APC in the Middle Belt, the North Central, saying that our president has been able to carry people of different tendencies along. But that's gross falsehood. That's gross misinformation. It is clear that Nigerians across ethnicities, across tendencies are angry. It is clear that the framers of the Constitution intended a nation that works towards fairness, equity, inclusiveness, and unity. It is clear that Nigerians want to live together and have a sense of belonging. And that was what the framers of Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution envisaged. Very unfortunately, Buhari took us to a low. The presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken us to an Olympic level in the infraction of Chapter 2 of the Constitution. He has been very unfair to other tendencies, other sections, other zones, and other regions. And I want to say to Nigerians who are listening to me and to those who truly care about our president, it was Madiba, Nelson Mandela, who said that the time is always right to do right. It is not too late in the day to correct these anomalies. It is not too late in the day to correct these monumental infractions. You must give the Nigerian people a sense of belonging. I want to see a country where the Hausa man, as well as the Igbo man, as well as the Yoruba, the Jokum, the Robo man, has a true sense of belonging. I want to see a country where our brotherhood, our unity is given a thumbs up. I want to see a president who cares about every tendency in our country and who carries everybody along. Tragically and unfortunately, this president hasn't done a good job of that.
All right, beyond the appointments, there's also been allegations of channeling resources to the development of the South. Senator Rabi Kwankwaso, in a 2025 constitutional amendment forum that was set up by the Kano State government, made some very strong allegations where he says that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, used these resources to develop the South at the detriment of the North. He, of course, attributed rising poverty and insecurity to this. But then again, there was a response by Chief Sonny Onwuesoke, who is Chairman CEO of DAS Energy Services and a former gubernatorial aspirant. He made reference to some of the projects. He says that President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda has delivered targeted infrastructure across the north, such as the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Expressway, to enhance connectivity from Abuja into the north, which includes airport linkage in Kano, major rural and agricultural road projects, and he has flagged off across northern states. So basically sort of debunking the statement by Senator Rabi Kwankwaso. So let's get your thoughts. Are you of opinion that it's just about the marginalization in terms of appointment, but what about when it comes to allocation of resources for development?
Let me say first that in the opening phase of this conversation, from your studio there, you noted and observed the fact that there is a provision of a constitution that is fundamentally important and directs the policy of government. It's constitutional. The call against the appointing protocols of Mr. President being skewed against several sections of the country is valid. And if we agree that he must do something to right that wrong, then that's settled. We'll move to the second phase, which is important, like you noted, development of structural development across the country. And I want to say very clearly that so many of these policy pronunciations are more on paper than in practice. Have you seen how much of the coastal highway from Lagos to Calabar have you heard about lately? After that Farasi, after that
30 kilometers.
theater of the absurd, commissioning less than 3% or 4% of a road, and reducing Nigeria to some kind of joke across the world, where you have a 750-kilometer road and you're commissioning less than 30% of it, 30 kilometers of that road. You know, what have you seen about the coastal way or the highway from Sokoto to Badagry? What have you seen? Where are the projects that they are all on paper? I think that what we must do is to say to this presidency and to those who speak for Mr. President, if I were one of the spokespersons, I would say to Mr. President, make our job easier.
Okay.
Be true to what you say on paper.
No,
Be
Prof.
true to the pronouncements of government. Live true to your policy enunciations. Where are the projects? Where are the liberalized or democratized or nationalized infrastructure? Where are they? Can you see them? I listened to the first phase of your conversation, and someone was talking about the roads in Lagos, the former federal capital territory.
Permit me to interrupt you, Prof, just before we let you go. I would really like to take your thoughts on this. There's been criticism of his appointments from different groups, Huriwa, Human Rights Writers Association, and even the Pan-Yoruba sociocultural group, Afenifere, has publicly criticized the Tinubu administration for what they described as concentration of federal appointments among Yoruba individuals. And also, Arawa Consultative Forum has similarly cautioned against Yorubanization or Lagosization of appointments, pointing out the underrepresentation of North and South, East and South in strategic sectors like finance and ICT. Having said this, we do operate on the Constitution. Are there not constitutional guardrails? And what's the National Assembly's oversight functions if they cannot correct this? He's doing this because he basically can get away with it. Others have also argued that President Buhari also did a similar thing. So how can we legally stop this lopsided appointment?
Wenga, you have noted very clearly what is expected of the National Assembly. The National Assembly is supposed to be the vehicle of check against the excesses of the executive, if you like. But very sadly and very unfortunately, rather than deal with these issues, the National Assembly has become largely a rubber stamp, the yes boy or yes man of the executive. And you saw it when he was commissioning 30-kilometer road, detour the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, where the Senate President was singing one of the songs of jesters and sycophants. You have seen the National Assembly tell us proudly that whatever the President wants them to do, they will do. And that removes from the vision or intentions of what you call representative democracy. That removes from the fundamental guidelines of liberal democracy. And that is why some people are saying that democracy is largely failing in Africa, where those who are in office or those who should protect the interests of the people renege on this constitutional mandate and commitment. And if you ask me, how can we get the president to do right? It's about what the media does now. The media, the civil society, and well-meaning Nigerians should call out the government, because those who have a constitutional right to do so have refused to do so. The National Assembly doesn't care about defending the Constitution. Wenga, let me shock you. This is very important for our listeners. As we talk consistently, we have seen half-truths and falsehoods dominate and denominate government of ours. And what am I trying to say? Every so often you hear this government tell you about how more monies have been made since they removed subsidy. And this government has apparently become the borrower in chief. This government has borrowed more money than almost all government put together since 1999. So you ask yourself, who's deceiving who? This government has jesters and sycophants, court jesters everywhere, and nobody tells Mr. President the truth. And as you and I talk, like you noted, Afenifere has said to Mr. President, stop Yorubanizing Nigeria. But I want to be fair to the Southwest and to the Yoruba people. The appointments queued in favor of the Southwest has been to Tinubu's yes boys and yes men. It's been largely about Lagos. You know, we must be fair to the Southwest. And those who truly care about our country from the Southwest have called out Mr. President on this.
All right.
You know, if the National Assembly fails to do what it must do, it takes me back to what Abraham Lincoln, that president of America in the 18th century, affectionately called B.B. Lincoln, who said that it comes to a point where if you're challenged as to who can make leadership responsible and responsive the best, that he would rather work with the media than the Congress, because the media will always call him out. What is necessary now, and that's why I salute what you're doing this morning, and I salute several other outfits and outlets that are beginning to consistently call Mr. President out on his consistent infraction against the provision of Chapter 2 of the Constitution.
All right, Professor Nwokobia.
We cannot hold our hands. We must collectively work together to ensure that leadership is responsible and responsive to the people.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Nwokobia, for joining us this morning.
Thank you,
It's
Prof.
been a great conversation, and we look forward to speaking with you again.